Afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our Sage Intacct Construction demo. My name is Sullivan Sanders, a marketing coordinator here at Action Associates. Just some quick housekeeping items. Today's webinar will be recorded, so you are muted, and we will be sending out the recording after the webinar as well, so please be on the lookout for that. During the presentation, please utilize the Q&A feature to ask any questions if needed, and we will answer them during the Q&A session at the end. If you experience any technical issues during the webinar, you may also use that Q&A feature, and we will try our best to assist you. We have also provided a brief post-webinar survey, which is available in your webinar console. We ask that you please fill that out as your feedback is important to us. With all that being said, let me introduce today's presenter, Jim Davis. Jim is a seasoned construction professional with over 25 years of experience in the industry. His expertise spans across various facets, including accounting, finance, operations, and software solutions. Throughout his career, Jim has consistently demonstrated a strong understanding of industry best practices and a deep knowledge of Sage software applications. Alrighty, with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and hand it on over to you, Jim.
Great, thank you, Sully, and thanks everybody for joining us today. Hopefully we'll get to show you some stuff that will make some sense to you and make your lives a little bit easier. Sully, just to confirm, you can see the slideshow right now, right?
Correct.
Okay, great. So we're just going to go through a couple of slides real quick, I promise. Get right into some of the software, taking a look at things. And like Sully said, just put questions in chat or stick around till the end, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you all might have. Alrighty, so today we're going to be talking about Intacct. We're going to go through a quick demonstration of Intacct, show you a couple of different features around job costs and ease of use, even some of the reporting, and then we'll just open it up for questions. A lot of people will ask, through the years here, why are we doing this Sage Intacct thing? Why not just take something like Sage 300 and put it into the web? Well, there was a lot of reasons. Obviously, older technology, we wanted new technology. But why are we doing this and pushing it now? Because there's over 50,000 construction users using Sage. That's 50, 100, and 300. That's 50,000 companies. That's not like users, it's companies. So there's 50,000 reasons why Sage needs to do this and get it right. So people have a migration path to the web. One of the big differences in Intacct versus many of the other products on the marketplace is something called dimensions. And dimensions is the way that Sage Intacct tags and catalogs every single transaction in the system. And dimensions are everything from the companies to customers and vendors, or even your jobs and cost codes. And those tags follow that transaction throughout the system, into job costing, into the general ledger. And it actually gives us a much more robust reporting capability. These aren't just filters or sorts or a field in the system. It's literally the way that we store the information. Now, if you look at this, I've got an invoice up on the screen. You can see kind of these little squared out places here. So, the vendor's a dimension, the company and the departments are dimensions. And what that's allowed me to do as this passes through into the general ledger, I can break that general ledger down any way I want, and not just a sort that sorts the entire feature set across the P&L or whatever we're looking at. I can go to the individual accounts and say, hey, break this account down by vendor, break this account down by customer or job. And you can actually see that in your financial reporting. And it's just going to really give you this new level of reporting capabilities. So I like to bring up these slides here. When we start talking about integrations with Intacct, there are many integrations with this product, and they are constantly being added to. People are racing to integrate with this product. They know it is the future. There's hundreds of these. You can see a small sampling of different integrated partners on the screen. This is going to be different than the integrations you're experiencing today. And what I mean by that is Intacct is an open platform. It's open APIs. The APIs being a communication tool. So these softwares can literally write an integration that is directly feeding and pulling information out of Intacct. So there's no longer a third party that has to sit in the middle. If you're using Procore and you're using something like 300 or 100 right now, you're most likely using an HH2 integrator. There's no longer a need for that. Now, HH2 still has some solutions, that will push their information directly into Intacct. So if you're doing H2 time or maybe AP routing, all those have direct feeds into Intacct also. One of the other things that people seem to be concerned about quite often is a reliability. They feel very comfortable having that information sitting on their server in their office, right? Well, a couple different things around this. First of all, Sage is SOC 1, SOC 2 compliant. We do nightly backups, both remote and local. We rehearse 96 hour up to the minute refresh if anything ever happens to us. The uptime commitment on this software is 99.8%. And people ask me about the 0.2. That's typically upgrades, and those happen in the middle of the night on a Saturday. That downtime should not affect most people. So let's go ahead and get into the software here. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Click share and entire screen. Make sure we get everything we need here. And that one. All righty. Sully, can you just confirm when you can see my screen, please?
Yep, all good.
Cool. Thank you. All right. So we're going to get into Sage Intacct here. And probably just right off the bat, I pull up things and you go, oh, that's different. Well, yes. So Sage Intacct does have the ability to have dashboards. And in these dashboards, we can have so much information, whether it's charts and graphs or actual reporting, KPIs, anything you really need to have on these. And you'll be able to create these. I promise you that. Before we get into this, I want to talk a little bit about, what's happening around the software and ease of use. How do we get around in this? So first thing I'm going to do is going to kind of come over to this default homepage and show you that release 2 is out. There are 4 major, and I said major releases a year with this product. What is a major release? It means they're adding functionality to the software. It's not just tweaking this or fixing this kind of thing here and there. They're adding more and more to it. About 2 weeks before a release comes out, you'll be able to come in and read the release notes. In here, you can watch videos. You can see all the different things here. You can go in and see things maybe around your industry. What are they doing in here? You can see, we just brought out the ability to generate lien waivers for secondary vendors, those notice to owners to our subs. We can actually create those now. So we're really moving forward with this product more and more. Another thing I like to point out while I'm on this page is you will never hear legacy around Intacct. It's always moving forward. You can see right here, Copilot, AI-powered automation. It's already being put in the software, and it's not just right now. I can go way back here. You're going to see it. We're on the forefront of this information, and we are pushing forward. Another thing is right here. Here are the release dates. It is not sometime around that release date. It is that date. So the next release will be on August 8th. Coming back out, a little bit about moving around in the system. So you can already see it's a newer UI, but when we look at the top here, I'm at something called the top level. And in my demonstration, it's important to understand that I am in a multi-entity environment. So top level allows me to work across all of my entities. And from that, I can do intercompany accounting, combine financials, whatever it is I need to do there. Below that are going to be my actual entities, those dimensions of entities. Below that, we can have locations within those entities, departments, classes. All of that functionality can be worked across the entire product. Over here, Sage really believes in the ability for that userability of a software, ease of use. Why I say userability is because of the fact that every user has a different idea of what ease of use means. So a user can actually get into Intacct and establish that. They can come right down here to where I say display and change the way the software presents itself to them, from their dashboard to the color schemes. Maybe they're going to come down here and we're going to talk about the order of the menu, or how many records show up on different types of pages. Maybe you want to automatically insert a decimal place, or you want to type ahead suggestions, or maybe use the enter key to move between fields. It's all right here. It's checkboxes. When I hit save, it's only for me. Intacct also has a built-in collaboration. So every record, every transaction can be talked about internally. This is you and other users of Intacct within your office can talk to each other via this collaboration. Help and support. If you look right here, we already have that AI, that whole co-pilot type situation where you can go in and you can ask something just completely crazy and it'll try to figure out what you're asking, give you lots of options. It's a little scary sometimes to me, but it does it. Now, when we start getting into the program here, it's important to know that everything is controlled by security. What kind of security do we have? We have roles-based security. That roles-based security is super easy to set up. You can have as many roles as you want. Within the role, all you do is tell it which applications can that role get into. It's just checkboxes. And then over here, you'll see, I want them to be able to do this within that role. There's lots of checkboxes, but if you look real close, you can kind of figure it out. Here's AP bills. Can they see a list? Can they open it up and view it? Can they add one? Can they edit? So it's detailed, but very simple. Once we have that set up, we set up our users. Our users are going to be where we go in and assign a role to them. Now, they can have multiple roles, but here I can also say they can only get into this entity or these entities. They can only get into these departments and post things to these departments. So we have another layer of security at that place too. Now, as we come back out, let's take a look at the software itself. So based on my security, I will be able to see the applications I've been given access to. Even here, if I go, you know what, I'm in accounts payable all the time, I can go like this, and that's where it's going to be from now on when I log in. Nobody else, just me. So you can rearrange this. So if you see me looking for something later, it's probably because I did that in a demo and don't remember where I put it. But as we go through here and see this information and go to an application, you will only see the tasks that you've been given. These gold stars you see here, which I can easily take off, any task in the system or report, I hover over it, I click that star. It adds it to my favorites, things I do all the time, so I don't have to go looking for them. It's just a quick hit list of things that I need to get to. As we come across here, this functionality right here is a very, very powerful tool. It's our search capability. It is a global search capability. What I mean by that is from one location, I could search across all of my companies in every type of transaction there is. I don't have to necessarily go to accounts payable to look something up. I can do it from here. For instance, if somebody was to call and ask me a question about an invoice, we could find it very easily. Now, we could search by an invoice ID, we could search by names, strings of text, even dollar figures. So if they were to ask something like, hey, what about this $3,000 invoice I sent you? I could come in here and I could just go find me all the $3,000 bills in the system. It's looking right now across all of those companies, and it's going to find anything with 3,000 in it. Now, understand, I said with 3,000 in it because I did not put a decimal place in that 3,000. So 30,000 still has 3,000 in it. So it picks it up. Now, as I look through here, I find that invoice and I can go into it and find out everything I want to know. These are complete drill downs into the transaction itself. So it's no longer looking to another inquiry or another report. It's going all the way down to the source. From this record, I can have any conversation I need to have. Let me explain that to you. I can see attachments here. These are true attachments for all those of you that use Sage 300 right now, let's say. Sage 300, you have like a pointer kind of thing. Now, this is a true attachment. It gets attached right here in the attachment field. It shows up for you, and we can attach just about every kind of document there is. I'm going to close this just to free up some screen space for you all. Now we're looking at the invoice. I can see everything about this invoice, how much it was for, has it been paid yet, what check paid it, when it was paid. And yeah, if there were multiple checks, I'd know it. Down below, I can see how we charged it to a job. I can see that collaboration. I can come back up to the top. I can see how it posted to the general ledger. I can see if there were any joint payees. What's the history? Who created this invoice? Who less modified it? I can even have an audit trail to this. What got changed? When did it get changed? Furthermore, when we look at something inside of Intacct, and this is everywhere, if it's not in black and white, I can get more information. So for instance, wow, we paid this guy, 2 years ago. Why is he asking me about this now? Well, I can go in and I can drill in. Notice I'm not leaving the record. I'm still in this AP invoice. I'm just getting more information. Like, how much was it? What checking account did it get paid out of? Well, this one's in a different color. Let's find out more. So now I'm scrolling down, guys, and I see it's still in transit. It's never cleared my bank. Well, let's go void it. AP void checks. Nope. Let's do it right here. Void the payment as of whatever date you want, and then reprint it. It's an ease of access to all of your account information. Whatever it is you need, we can get to it. Now I'm going to come back out, talk a little bit about job costs, and just kind of keep moving things forward. So, well, actually, let's start off with another place. I apologize. Let's go back to our dashboards, because I like to talk about dashboards a little bit. When we look at a dashboard, it's just it's a central location to bring data from everywhere. I can have a financial statement in the middle of my job cost report, if that's what I need to have. Up above, I have some sorting capability. So dates. It's important to understand dates in Intacct. We do not archive information in this product. That means it's always available. You need a P&L from 9 years, 6 months, and 3 days ago, you can have it. And it's as easy as just coming in here and saying, hey, let's go here, and I want it as of that date. Notice that's not a period, that's a date. So all the transactions are date sensitive, and this quickly it all changed. Now I'm seeing it as of that date. I'm at the top level, which is that I see everything level. Any company I'm allowed to see, I can see right now. Well, maybe I only want to see a specific company. Great, well, let's just look at it for that company only. And it's going to go out as of that date, that company. Here it is. Well, maybe I wanted that date, that company, but only this kind of project. Well, great, let's rearrange it, and now it's that way. So you guys are going to always be able to get to this information. Dates or whatever can always be changed. It's this ability to get to the information you want. So I want to point something out to you, because you don't have to let people work from the top level per se. All right. So if I was to go in, and you can see how I'm looking at this, and I see all my companies and all the different locations and everything else there. If I was in that actual company, just so you can understand, you get to define this by security. Here is the report. Now I'll do it kind of as that same day, I think, what was it? Let's look right here, 3/31/25. So I'll just do this 3/31/25, hit apply. Now what I'm showing you here is that I am only going to see information for that company. And if I went right here and said, only show me to that type of job, it's going to be that company and that type of job. Now, I still can click on locations, but you see everything went away except for the locations inside of that company. So I can go and say, hey, just show me this. But the same thing holds true at the top level. If I go up to the top level with that date, that information right there, which is right here, and put in the same exact thing, I'm going to get the same exact information. It just depends on where you want people to run things from and how you want them to get it. The other thing around these, and let's just clear a couple of these, all locations and all jobs apply. We'll bring it all back in. Everything on this page is drill down capable, guys. So look, black and white, but there's other colors. Hey, what made up this total cost on that job? Let's drill in and see all of those transactions. There they all are, every one of them. Oh, wait a second. This guy's not on that job. What is that? I'm going to drill into it, and it is this AP invoice. It's the same one you saw a second ago, guys. 2 clicks from the total cost of job, I'm inside of a invoice. You're going to have real-time access to all of your data. Even if I went up here and clicked on one of these, it's going to drill down through the data, and I can keep going and be in a transaction again. So really want you to have access to your information. A lot of people ask, how hard is this? Well, it's super easy. Here you go. Let me just show you. We'll go to this one, which has like barely anything on it. We'll even take something off of it just because I want to. So on this one, I have something that's just showing me my applications at this time. Okay. We'll refresh that. Let that pop up. All right. How do we add something to this? Well, we go right here. We hit this plus key. It's going to ask us what we want to add. Do you want to add something that's general, like the applications or a calendar or something like that? Do you want to add a chart or a graph? Do you want to add a performance card? Maybe you want to add a smart link, just a link that you click on and it'll take you to something like Procore. Maybe you want your collaboration feed here so you can see it on your dashboard. Let's just grab a report. What kind of report do we want? Do we want a financial report or one of the other reports in the system? Great. Which financial report do you want? I don't know. Let's pull up this balance sheet. Now, down below, you'll see it's a live report. Do I want to allow dashboard filtering? These filters here. And we'll start it off collapsed. Save. It's going to refresh. This screen's going to refresh. And it's done, guys. There is my balance sheet report on this document. Hey, I just want it for this company. It's already ready to go because of dimensional reporting. It's refreshing that, and now it's in that company only. That easy. What else can I do there? What if I don't want it in this location? I want it beside it. Okay, put it beside it. Hey, I want it to go all the way across the top. Great, make it go all the way across the top. It's that easy. So I want you to, we've all been doing this a long time. You've heard, oh, it'll be easy 1,000 times during your years. That's why I showed it to you. I want you to see that it's easy. All right, so let's talk about jobs. And I'm going to go into this GC company here just because that's where most of my jobs are. And we'll come in and we'll go to jobs and we'll talk about a couple things. First of all, Sage Intacct is a very robust, flexible system. We use parent-child relationships across everything, including things like cost codes. So my standard cost codes, yeah, you could set them up kind of CSI driven if you wanted to, or however you want. It's an alphanumeric field. Well, how do we know if the ID is alphanumeric and we aren't using the same coding? How does it work? Well, it's real easy because this code means nothing to the software. It's this. So you see Jim rolls up there. Literally, when I set up that cost code, I tell it, here's the parent. That's how I want it to roll up. So you're going to have great flexibility in this. Now, guys, if you're using some other products like a Procore or some of these other ones out there, you have to remember that Intacct would have to hold back a little bit and only do what those programs would allow it to do. And the same thing holds true with stuff like jobs. We have parent-child relationships. I can go grandchildren, great-grandchildren if we want to, but other programs won't let us. But the reason it's even set up this way is to communicate with things like Procore. Procore does sub-jobs. There it is. On the job record itself, when we look at a job record, and I'll go into edit mode here, you're going to see everything about the job. So I can see what company it's for, what department it's for, if there is a parent job, how big it is, what type of job it is. I can scroll across here. I can see, okay, that's how much we spend in labor and materials, so forth and so on. I can see my estimates. For those of you that heard that, yes, I did say estimates. You can have multiple estimates on a project in Intacct. You could have a preliminary one, then maybe you realize, hey, we were a little off on this, let's change it, but you want to keep the original one. Well, great, copy it, keep it, change it, do whatever you got to do. So it's really nice. Or for somebody like the developer that kind of has that preliminary estimate before they start actually building, works great for those kind of things. We'll be able to see all of our commitments right here on the job screen. All my subcontracts, all my purchase orders, they're right here. High level information about them. What I mean by high level, if I look at this, I can see, okay, well, there's the original amount, there's the revised amount, how much has been invoiced today, we're holding some retainage there, those kind of things. But let's take this a level further. It's in green. I can drill down from the job screen directly into the subcontract and get more information. What kind of information do you say? Well, everything. I can come here and see how this is charged out, what the total cost is, how much has been billed to date. I can come up to the top section. I can see the complete posting details. There's my change orders. Here's the history, who created it, who last modified it. Well, there's the subcontract. Here's all the invoices against it. They're in a different color too. Let's drill down into an invoice in that subcontract while I'm still in the job screen. So what I'm trying to show you here, guys, is in these screens, you're going to have better access to your data. It's just going to give you more. I want to point out that inside this product, we don't necessarily need a project management. What do I mean by that? Here's change requests. Here's change orders. You used to need in Sage 300, you would have to get Sage Project Management in order to do change requests. You do not need to in here. There it is right there. We can set up all the different purchase orders, subcontracts, and things like that that we want to in here because we have that kind of flexibility inside this product. So you're going to have a lot of information that you can handle there, giving you better flexibility. By the way, I don't care what we're using. Either you're entering it in here, you're entering it into a Procore or a Sage Construction Management or a Red Team, or you're using a Timber Scan, some type of AP automation. Everything I'm showing you, it's all going to end up the same way, the same look and feel to it. So we're just accepting that information being via API, allowing us to get more and more. As we come back out and get to some more information here, I do want to point out, and I'm going to go right here to reports. Here's the reports center, just so you guys can see what kind of reporting's into the system here. I'm going to start off here because I think that there's a lot of information. I should have probably done it at the top level, but it's fine. You can see all the different financial reporting type capabilities we have: cash management reports, general ledger, accounts payable, accounts receivable reports, job reports. There's plenty of them, guys. Okay? Couple more things. Intacct has been working tirelessly around the job to do WIP management. That's not WIP reporting like you saw a second ago where I just have my contract versus this, this, and this. It's full WIP. What do I mean by that? We actually have a schedule that we can complete inside this product. So I can go in here and I can say, hey, I want to create a new schedule. This doesn't have to be done every month. It could be done once a quarter, once a year, whatever you want to do. I can come in and say, hey, let's do it as of this date. So now it's grabbing everything as of that date and bringing it into this WIP schedule for me. Just want to show you this real quick. You can see here now, errors just mean I haven't completed what I need to complete. But you can see from here to here, those are actual numbers in Sage Intacct. From here, I have a place where I can put in the PM forecast for contract, cost to complete, cost at completion, or percent complete. Now that can be imported. Procore knows about this, and they're writing an interface to push stuff into this. Sage Construction Management already does do something where we can bring that information in. but still that's not my whip because I don't want any of their stuff hitting my GL. Now I have the CFO side. So we can come over here and say, well, yeah, I know you said it was this, but I think it's this, which means this is my true job to date over billing. And guess what? When I finalize this and hit save, I can post this to the GL. It will actually post that over under billing and auto reverse it based on however I set this up to do it. This is one of the first releases of this product. Future releases, it's going to be at the cost code level. So that's typically where the project managers are doing their percent completes and things like that. So we want to give it to them there, even if we roll it up on this screen for the CFO. So we're going to have lots and lots of productivity here. Nobody else in the industry can do this. Typically, most people are doing this in Excel or somewhere like that. We've built it into the system. All right, coming back out to the reports. I wanted to show you that there are multiple types of reports in this system. These are not crystal reports, guys. This is not something major ugly. We have custom reports. What are custom reports? Custom reports are very easy. It's literally grab a record and go through what you want on it. So if I was to come in here and let's say this job cost detail report, I'm just hitting edit so you can see what it looks like. This is the record I'm writing it off of. And then you just start going through it. Okay, that's great that you're writing it off that. What fields do you want? You know, check them off. It's literally just walk through a wizard. All right, that's one type of reporting. Another type of reporting in the system is this interactive custom reports. What do those look like? It's a different kind of thing. So I'm going to come right here to this one, and we'll go in here and edit. This is going to take a second because not only is it opening up my report design, it's running the product too. So I'm going to get a screenshot of what this particular report looks like. And you guys are going to probably say, well, you know, that looks like it lasted a little while. Is it always going to take that long? The answer is, yeah, it'll take a little longer. And I will show you why in just a second. So let that run. It's going to pop open the report. So a couple of things. There's the report. Look at all those links to drill down into other documents. That's one reason it took a little longer. I could go from here and go, oh, wait, what's that? And drill right into that AP invoice. That's number one. Number two, I can change this report on the fly. I don't have to be in the report designer. If I ran this report, it would look just like this, and I could do the same thing. So what do I mean by that? Well, right now it says project manager or project, and then the vendor, then the commitment, then all the AP invoices, right? Well, great. I don't want this. I want it by vendor instead. Well, great. Just come over here to vendor and drag it to the front. Sorry, got to drag it to the front. It's going to redo that report, and it's going to be by vendor. This is what we mean by an interactive custom report. So now it's by vendor, then job. I could come in here and I could literally just say, you know what? Just today, do me a favor, and I don't want that one. I can just exclude that column, right? Because I want to exclude a bunch of columns and send it out to Excel. Okay, great. No problem. You don't have to write 50 different reports. Same report can handle it all. That's an interactive custom report. You guys will be able to do these too, because the system's just set up to be acceptable to this. The other one is a financial report. Now, I'm going to go in here, and let's do this at a different level. Let's do this all the way up here. So we'll go into actions and reports and financial reports. So in Sage Intacct, first of all, you guys are going to be able to design these. However, out of the box, you get all those. You get all these and a couple more here. And all you have to do is you go in here and you say, oh, I wonder what this one looks like. Layout, it will show you what it looks like. And then from there, you just hit install, it's yours. You can change it, you can modify it, you can do whatever you want to it. You can duplicate it. But for those of you that have been around financial reports, and understand the need to have better financial reporting and it almost being impossible in some of these legacy softwares, I want to show you how easy it is in this software. So I'm going to go right here and I'm going to say, let's create a new report. And we're going to create a new P&L. So how do I do that? I go to my rows and I tell it what account groups I need. Now, what are account groups? Well, account groups are things like your revenue account groups, right? Or your cost account groups. And you would just add them. In this case, though, I'm going to do this a little quicker for us. I'm just going to select net income, which includes all those, and do that. So right now, if I roll this back to where we could actually have some data, I have a live report. There is my financial statement. Now, I told you earlier that at the top level, it's all inclusive. So that's really a roll up of all my companies into that one column. What if I wanted all my companies side by side? Well, if you've ever been around a report writer, you know how miserable that is. You add columns and you put formulas in all sorts of things. But Intacct is not like that. It is a truly dimensional accounting software. And all of that information is already saved that way and stored that way. So all I have to do is come out here and say, do me a favor, show it to me that way. Hey, let's do it and see it by this. Great. Preview. Now I have this by those different departments. Hey, let's do this by, anybody ever wanted a P&L by job? Great, it's a dimension. Here it comes. There it is by job. Now, obviously all these accounts down here don't have jobs on it because of the way job cost software does, but look, no job, right? So we have that capability in this software, but we can do even more than that, guys. If I come out here, let's just roll this back and say we'll do that by like department there. I can not only do it this way, I can do it this way. But it's not a sort. This is where people like to say, oh, we can do dimensions. No, they can't. This is not just a sort, because if I put in a dimension, it would have to do this entire report, right? The transaction itself has the dimensions on it. So every transaction that went into this account has all the dimensions on it. Every transaction that went into this account, same thing. So I could go here to my revenue and say, you know what? Don't show me the accounts. Instead, show this to me by, how about customer? But then I could go somewhere else, like down here to my project cost, and say, show me that. And guys, just so you know, I could do it by cost code. But let's do it by job. And then maybe I do want all of these by vendor or something. I can do that too. So I can come in here and say, do all those by vendor. Just so you know, when I run this, it's going to say no vendor because we imported this stuff without vendors on it. But I'm going to run this for you. And it's going to return it exactly the way I just did it in front of you so you could see how easy it was to create this. Here it is by those different companies. Here it is with the customers in my revenue. Here's my project cost broken down by job. If I go down further, you'll see no vendor, no vendor, no vendor. But I would have every vendor that we paid inside of each one of these listed with the amount we paid on each one of those expense accounts. It's that simple to get this done. But we'll take it even farther than that. Let's go out here one more time. Because conceivably, I could have come right here, done this, said, do this entire thing by job, right? And just think about what I just did there. I just said, grab every account and sort it out by job. And it will do it, okay? The crest, see what it did? Well, because it can do that, that means I can do more with this financial statement report writer. We can go in and we can have something, let's say, like this, where on this report, I have literally told it, don't even show me the GL accounts. We're just going to do it by dimension. And the rows become the dimension or multiple dimensions. We could have multiple dimensions here if we want. So I could say by project, then by cost code kind of thing if I wanted to. But we're just saying by project. And because of the way that the software holds information and posts things to all these different journals, I can have columns that look like this. There's my contract, because I can post that to a journal. I can post changes to a journal. I can have my budget. I can have all this information. How does it know what to put here? Total cost. If it summarizes everything, how would it know that? Because I said, just get the account group project cost here and summarize that into this column. We can do things like have conditional highlighting. How hard is that? Well, it's easy. We'll just add another rule here and say if it's greater than 15,000, I want you to, we'll say multiple colors right there. And we'll say, make this one red and turn this one blue. Set. Okay? Watch this. That is a financial statement report you're looking at. That's a job cost report. Because of dimensions, I can do this from the GL. You have so much more information at your fingertips. And because I have all the transactions, I can go right here. When I click on this, notice what it's going through. Cost of goods, labor. You know, that's because that was that GL account. Come down further. Here's going to be cost of goods, subcontract, and materials, and whatever else you got in there. And in here, I can drill down straight into the transaction that made it up, because everything flows all the way in this system. Another thing that I want to point out to you guys, for those of you that have been around 300 especially, any report, any financial report, anything you want, don't be afraid to say, send it to Excel. It's going to go to Excel. It's going to go properly to Excel. It's not going to combine columns or do any of that weird stuff you guys have been used to in the past. There it is. Okay? So you're going to be able to do those things inside this product, just making it a better product all around. Now, I know I threw a lot of information at you in all of 40 minutes, but I'm going to stop there for today and just try to answer some questions for you guys. And it doesn't have to necessarily be just what we talked about today. Please feel free to ask anything you'd like.
Awesome. Perfect. Looks like we do have a few questions in our queue. As Jim said, everybody, if you do have any questions, please continue sending them in. But I'm going to go ahead and push the first one to the screen so we can all see. All right. See here? Okay. Will testing for users need to be completed prior to upgrades within the 2-week time period?
No. And the reason I'm going to tell you that is because of the fact that you do not need to test. There will not be any breaking in these upgrades, including with the integrations between other softwares. Sage guarantees it as long as those other softwares like the Procores and stuff like that of the world are on their marketplace. So those products actually get the software like a month ahead of time to make sure their integrations work. And every single user of Sage Intacct is on the same version. So they don't have to worry about interfacing with multiple versions. Makes it a much more stable platform.
Awesome. Alrighty, our next question. Is licensing per user?
Yes, it is. So it is named licenses in this product. There are different license types, you know, like a project manager type or just an employee type or a full business user. You can talk to your sales reps about that moving forward, but it is named users.
Awesome. Perfect. It looks like we got a few more. We have some more coming in, so it's great. Everybody, please send some more if you do have them. Our next question. Do you have point of sale in an HRIS system?
Okay, so there is not a point of sale built in to Intacct. There are multiple products out there. I'm gonna can they still see my screen also? I think so. I think they
they should
can.
be able to, yes.
If you go to marketplace.intact.com, it will pull this up, and you can go in here and you can put things in like point of sale, and you
Jim,
will
actually,
find.
sorry to interrupt, Jim. I'm not seeing it on my end, therefore they probably are.
Okay,
Oh,
I see it on
there we,
mine.
there we go. There we go. We're good. We're good. Okay, it may have been
Yeah.
my end. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I mean, here's a number of different things that are out there. You can see that there are plenty of different things that could be out there for you to use. So as far as an HR type system, what we recommend from this construction side or development side, what we're talking about today is a product called MITRE. It is 100% integrated. It is a payroll company. It does job costing, and it's all they do. It's a job cost payroll system. They have an HR to it. They have an expense management side to it if you want. They have a complete employee tracking type side to it, time entry if you need it. But it is a great product that we have been recommending. And Sage, I was just at the CFMA conference, actually brought it up in their speech also and said, hey, this product's out there. There is another product that is similar to it called Lumber. That's another one that's a great little product that has those same types of features. So that's kind of where we go for those things.
Perfect. Awesome. Another question. Can data from Sage 300 be uploaded to this?
Sorry. Just real quick, Sully, because I want them to know. By the way, those products actually have integration to 100 and 300 also, just for your knowledge. All right. Can data from Sage 300 be uploaded to this? So the answer to that is no, not really, because they are two completely different softwares and act completely different. However, with that having been said, you are working with Action, and we are actually the only people that could possibly help you with that. We have spent a lot of money to create something called a data bridge, where we can actually bring your stuff out, we can manipulate it, we can talk to you about it, make sure everything's right, and bring it in for you. We're actually going to be announcing that here in 2 weeks at the Sage conference. So the answer is yes, but not because Sage can.
Awesome. Alrighty, next question. Can you show us how we see AR invoices for a particular client?
Sure. There's multiple ways to do it, but really easy. Let me just go back here and get into my GC side. If we come in and we want to look at it any way we want, okay, so first of all, I could just come here and go to AR and go to invoices. Why is that? Because if I went to invoices, I can sort and filter by any one of these different columns, including customer. So like, let's say I just wanted all DJS's stuff. I can just type in DJS there, and it's just DJS's items, okay? I can also create views here, all right? What do I mean by that? Let me do something real quick. I'm gonna take that off because I wanna show you a couple things. Because all these columns could be sorted too, so I could go like this, and now it's sorted by customer. But every one of these are like a mini inquiry. So I can go into manage views and say create a new view, and I can go through here and I can tell it all the fields I want on this new view, and I can save it as something new. And I can flip back and forth between views because they'll be listed right here. So that's another thing you can do, okay? If I go out here and I go to customers on this page right here, you can see, and actually, it's this page, sorry about that. You can see right here, if I'm on this customer page, here's this customer. Well, if I click right there, I can see all the invoices for that customer. So there's ways to do things. There's multiple ways always inside of this product. Okay? Hopefully that answered your question.
Perfect, yep. Alrighty, looks like we still have a few more minutes, or we have still a few questions as well, so we're going to keep cranking through them if you're good with that, Jim. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm good. Let's do it.
Alrighty, how long of a process is that data transfer?
The one that I was talking about with Data Bridge, we need to talk to you about exactly what it's going to be, but we're getting that process down more and more quickly, the actual processes of it happening. But I would definitely want to have you talk to our group about that to make sure I don't shoot my mouth off in the wrong direction. I mean, seriously, guys, I'm not the one that's going to be doing it, so I can sit there. The goal of the actual conversion that we're trying to get to, we're trying to get it down to be like 10 hours, right, total. But there's still some manipulation of data in the front ground. You got to make sure that the data we've pulled out of the system is correct. Things like that. You need to review things. So I don't have an exact time for you on that.
Awesome. All righty, another question here. Can data from Sage 100 contract be mapped into Sage Intacct?
Not today. That same data bridge I was talking about, we're working on it to be able to bring Sage 100 data also. So today with Sage 100, what you're really looking at is beginning balances coming in is what we would do. Now, as far as GL, we can bring the GL like numbers in month over month type numbers for 2, 3, 4 years if you want, so you can have year over year type GL reporting. But with the transactions, we really don't have a solution for you right now. By the way, since two different people brought this up, 300 and 100, it's important to understand as you guys are moving forward and you become part of the Sage loyalty agreement, that side of things. And if you haven't done that yet, talk to your sales rep. I strongly suggest it. When you go to Sage Intacct, Sage will give you a use of your old product and maintain it, with all the updates and things free of charge. So you can always go back and get data you need if you need to.
Awesome. Perfect. This is a good question here. How does Sage handle service management and monthly maintenance service contracts?
And I am assuming we're talking about actual service management, like you are the service provider, not we're giving you service. So in that case, let me explain that Sage, some of you might have been around SSO in the past, Sage Service Operations. There's now Sage Field Operations, which was rewritten into the web. So it's a completely web-based platform with a better app and everything to it. It does not need to, if you saw earlier when I hit this, there is no service management type application here. So you're not doubling up on things. It's literally pushing information in. And if I go here, for instance, and go to my invoices again, you see all these? They came in with a different invoice number. Those all came from Sage Field Operations. So I know those were all service invoices. If you are going to use Sage Field Operations, we even have better things because they created a custom dimension in the software. So for instance, if I went down here to my dashboards and went into like this services one, you can see up here all my open work orders. Those are all in Sage Service Operations. If I went, I can see all the different details about it. I could go like this and click further. It's actually going to go out, open up that work order in Sage Field Operations. These are totally connected products, okay? Now, going at it a little bit further than that, there are 3 or 4 or 5 service management softwares that integrate to Intacct. Build Ops, Service Titan, Service, Trade, they all got an interface. This one's just the best interface, the Sage Field Operations.
Awesome. Perfect.
Oh, and when I say the interface, guys, it's not third party, there's no in between. They're direct read and writing APIs.
All right, looks like we got a few more. Here we go. Sorry. Okay. Can you do T&M billing?
Absolutely. I can even do T&M billing on an AIA document.
Awesome. Perfect. Okay. Let's see here. Can you do full in-house payroll within Sage Intacct?
So Sage Intacct does have a payroll, but depending on your needs, it will or will not work. So we'd have to discuss that further. If you're a big union contractor, that kind of stuff, if you do a lot of certified type payrolls, those kind of things. The payroll that Sage has, Sage payroll, does not work well for you. That's when we definitely put you into a miter or a lumber. Now, understand those products, you're still doing the entire payroll. They just file your tax stuff for you.
Awesome.
And it does full job costing, meaning it's pushing the hours into Sage Intacct. It's pushing all the dollars properly job costed at all the different category levels on your jobs. It is like it's built into the software. There is a very big partnership there.
Okay, now this is my apologies, Jim, if I've missed this one. Can you show a little bit of change management? Not sure if I missed that one.
I mean, I can do something real quick for you. So if we come out here and I go into, let me make sure I'm in the right company, this one. So if I go in here and I go to jobs and we go over here to our change requests. So change requests are the first level, right? I can come into a change request. I can tell it what jobs this is for at this level. So we can go and say, I want it for this job. I can have multiple statuses. You get to define these. Notice I could even add more on the fly here. So maybe this is just a pending one. Change request type. You get to define these too, right? I can go through, I can have what the price effective date is, the cost effective dates, all that type of information. I can pick a different type of template that I want to be using. By the way, every document out of this, like change orders, subcontracts, change requests, purchase orders, invoices, all of those aren't done with like Crystal reports or even one of those report designers you've seen. We do those with Word, and it's real easy. So you're going to have lots of flexibility there. But now I can go through this information here, right? I can go in and say, yeah, we want this, but I can put this in and I can bring it in and start doing this information. So if you look at this different stuff, and I apologize, what did I miss? Oh, I didn't put a line in. So we want to come through here and say it's for the sugar shop, right? Now, depending on what we're doing, see this inherit from job change order? I could do it assigned at the job request, assigned per entry, what line I want to tag on a contract per entry. It all depends on what I do right there. You get more of that later, but this is going this way because I'm going to say it's by the change order. And I can go through and say, I'm going to update this cost code. These are just my cost codes. And I'm just going to pick one real quick. This cost type, and of course, let's go here. Let's do this one. Hopefully there's something there. Yeah, there we go. So we'll say it's going to be this. The cost is going to be this much, and we're going to charge this much. Yes, I could have done a markup percentage on top of that. So I'm adding another $50 on top of the price to make it $550. I can do all of these lines just like this. Now, what happens with this is as I'm going through and doing this, I could make it create a new change order, a new line item on my contract, whatever it is I need to do. So how is that exactly done? Now, I don't know. Did I just hit post? I shouldn't have hit post, but I did anyway. All right. So we can have as many of these change requests as we want. Let that post into the system. Now, if we have that information, I can also print out reports and everything on this. But what we do here is we go to change orders, and the change orders are literally you're just selecting the change requests, right? So if I go out here and I'm looking at a change order, I'm literally selecting change requests to put on this change order. So it's real straightforward, real easy to do. Okay, now that's one way. I mean, you guys, if you ever want to, can always get into a whole nother level of Sage and get into Sage Construction Management, our full web-based project management solution that writes directly into the software too. That change order functionality would be a little bit different, right? So if I came in here and I'm looking at my projects through this and came down here and said, hey, there's the project, go in here, I'm still creating all those change requests and change orders in the system, and it's still grabbing those documents. So if I have a change order, it's going out there and saying, hey, these are the change requests that I need. And you can see this was change request 2, the line items off it, all that kind of stuff. And I can create it from here, and this will post directly back into exactly where I showed you. And honestly, the change request will too. from this product. If you're using something like a Procore, just the change order will post back into Sage. Hopefully that didn't confuse you too much. Try to do it real quick. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I think that was perfect, Jim. And we do have a couple questions left over.
I'm good
so
if you can stay on for a few minutes.
Yeah, well, let's give it. We can answer. Let's answer one more, and then we'll probably have to hop off.
Okay.
I'm sure some people have some meetings, but
Okay.
ooh, now it's just kind of which one do I want to ask? We'll do this one here. Is there a workflow to send to project managers from AP?
Okay, so you're talking about doing an approval process, and the answer is yes, no, maybe. Depending on what it is. If it's an AP invoice, if it's an invoice against a commitment, no problem sending it to the project manager right through Sage. If that invoice is not related to a commitment, yeah, we don't do it very well today, sending it to a project manager. We interface with, like I said earlier, a number of different AP routing and approval systems, HH2, TimberScan Titanium, paperless. There's a number of them. So, but we are building it out, and we are building it out better than before. So you can see I can actually do automation in my system already. And that automation, I can drag and drop the document, and it starts reading the document to find out information about the document, starts filling it in for me, okay? Brings it in draft mode, so then I can update it if I wanted to change anything like that. We are building out a complete functionality. The problem is in accounts payable, when it's not related to a subcontract or purchase order, I have no way to say send it to the project manager. So let's say this invoice was actually going to hit a job in a cost code. I couldn't say send this to the project manager for approval because it's not related to a commitment. Is that getting added? Is that getting fixed? Yes, but today, no. And I like to be clear about that.
Awesome. Perfect. Alrighty. Well, I think that is, unless Jim, unless you have anything else to add.
No, I really appreciate everybody's time.
Yeah, those were great questions, everybody. Thank you so much for asking them. And like I said earlier, there were a couple that we didn't get to, but we'll make sure that your account managers receive those so they can get those questions answered for you guys. And if you have any further questions, please feel free to contact them as well. And just a friendly reminder, we have provided that webinar survey. Shouldn't take you guys more than 30 seconds. If you would fill that out, it would be really, really appreciated. And thank you again for joining us. And thank you, Jim, for such a wonderful presentation. All righty, everybody, have a great rest of your week, and we will see you next month.